creatures of the night. Let's talk Collision. This was an interesting episode. We started off with devastating news about our boy Pac. Pac, we love so much. He's injured and he will not be able to defend the trios titles. And then we get some interesting news that Jon Moxley will be defending the trios title. So you know we do have a reigning defending champion in Jon Moxley, but he's going to have to do double duty with the trios titles. Now at first they ended up giving Marina the title, but it's Jon Moxley that's going to be taking Pac's place, so I thought that was interesting. Now for me, I did not like this because as much as I am okay with the Death Riders with the trios titles, don't all throw your tomatoes at me. Honestly, a few months back, months back, Tony Khan stated that here at AEW we do not do the Freebird rule here, where if someone who's holding a title gets injured, someone else within the faction can take their place. He said that his damn self and ended up stripping Bullet Club Gold of the title when Jay White got injured. So if you did that then, you should be doing that now for the Death Riders. But the Death Riders is too valuable in terms of this being so closely knit with Jon Moxley, who has the AEW World Title, so they're just not gonna let it go. They end up taking basically accepting the challenge of the Ops. I remember Samoa Joe spitting all over the camera the other day, challenging the Death Riders for the Trios title. And now we're going to get that with Jon Moxley taking the place of Pac. Now, I'm not going to lie, this does make me nervous because of the situation that we may have the titles change hands. And honestly, I don't think the Ops deserve to be holding any titles at this point. FTR came on out there and they talked about how Edge was, Adam Copeland. They said, oh, we were just Edge heads to Adam. And I was just like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. They talked about how, like, I guess you can say, like, they realized that the more that he's been there, that he is just not as great as he used to be. He all washed up and everything. And Dax, he goes on to say, oh, there was somebody who was talking off the side of their neck the other day during Dynamite, and then they called out Shivani. Shivani, they told him to bring his ass to the ring, and they was about to snatch his ass up and probably whoop his ass. And I was like, yes, please. If somebody put their hands on Shivani, y'all know I just can't. Shivani on commentary is just dreadful, absolutely dreadful. So instead of anybody doing anything in terms of hurting him, here comes Nigel, who comes over there to save Shivani, unfortunately. And then we have Danny Garcia who comes out. When Danny gets in the ring, Nigel tells Tony to get out. And I was just like, oh, okay, so you're going to help Danny to make sure nothing happens here. Instead of that happening, Nigel got his ass out the ring too. Very interesting. And it's just Danny and FTR, and FTR ends up walking away. But don't worry, there's more. So now we had the quarterfinals match with Billy Starks versus Jamie Hayter. Winner of this match will go on to the semifinals and face Chris Statlander. This match went on way too long. Now, y'all know me. I will complain about how the girls don't get enough time. However, for this tournament, I felt like Jamie Hayter should have been able to do this in a much shorter amount of time that they took in the ring. Billy Starks, she just hasn't wowed me. I've seen her since her very first match in Ring of Honor, and I have yet to be wowed. However, we're talking about Jamie Hayter here, who could potentially be going for a second AEW women's title right now. And it was just like, I felt like it should have gone a lot faster than what it was. But she ends up taking the win, and rightfully so. So we're going to get her going against Statlander. Winner of that will at least be in the finals to go against the other women who would be on the other side of the bracket. To my surprise, the Gates of Agony came out and had a little squash match, unfortunately, because they're too cute to be in the ring for two moves. I need to see them doing stuff, because, like, how you gonna waste good-looking talent like that? Now, look, they are really talented. It's not just how cute they are. And for me, seeing them come in there after God knows when's the last time they even got TV time, to just be in there for like 2-3 moves. I didn't like that. A little later on in the night, here they are cutting a promo to go against the Hurt Syndicate, and I was just like, wait, what? Now look, I don't like this logic of so and so is going to go for the title, but before they go and challenge for the title, we are going to let them do a squash match to show how devastating they are. Who is going to be convinced with that? If you want to show what someone is capable of doing, they cannot show that to the crowd in 2 moves. Like, do I even have to explain the logic? Well, how illogical it is to want to get people behind Gates of Agony if you're not familiar with them or if you haven't seen them in a while. They're not going to be able to convince you anything with 2 moves. But they do look good. Now, FTR was just leaving the building, and here comes Daddy Magic and Angela Parker, who come on out there. And I'm just like, well, what the hell y'all doing here? They're over here sticking up for Danny Garcia, which I understand. And they're also sticking up for Shivani. And I'm just like, look, y'all gonna mind your business or what? So instead of FTR leaving, they are going to take care of Daddy Magic and Angela Parker for putting their nose in their business later on tonight. We'll talk about that in a moment. After this, Anthony Bowens goes against Blake Christian, my Blake Christian, and wins. In real life, that would never happen. I understand what they're trying to do with Anthony Bowens, and I'm okay with that. I don't know if anybody's actually convinced that he would beat Blake. If you are familiar with Blake, you know what I'm talking about. Now, here's what I didn't like about the match. The match was alright or whatever. It's no pay-per-view quality match or anything. My thing was I saw too much of Billy Gunn in that ring. And I don't mean that in a literal sense because Billy was ringside. I mean within Anthony Bowens' moveset. Anthony has been gone since, January or something like that. And then before he was gone, there was a disconnect with the fans and the Acclaim. So right now, it's almost like as if he was gone, he had this identity crisis, and now he found who he is. No, you found out that you can be Billy Gunn in the ring. I am okay with wrestlers paying homage to other wrestlers that they look up to, and I think that's cool or whatever, but I just feel like for someone who has been gone for a long time, someone who's been stuck in a tag team situation, I don't think this was the best case scenario for him. He wins, unfortunately. And then he gives a promo after that. He calls his finisher the Mollywop, which I don't like, but to each their own. And for me, I felt like the crowd was just sitting there and not necessarily enjoying what he had to say. I don't think they truly felt him with what he has to say. I'm glad that he's getting the time to be on TV, but I'm hoping that things can get a little bit better for Anthony. Now, Megan Bayne, Lord have mercy, come on out there. I don't know if this was a tag team match at first or not because Penelope came on with her and there was already 2 girls in the ring and Megan just took care of both of these girls like it was nothing. And I was just like, oh my God. Now look, Megan, she has already taken an L, her first L against Toni Storm. I don't think that was a negative thing for her either. However, we're just going to go back to putting her in squash situations with people you're picking up from the parking lot. I don't necessarily know how that helps her either. Ooh, after this, y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, I told y'all for Ring of Honor, we had Kevin Knight going against AR Fox. It was so good, but the match ended up in a draw. Well, they ran it back for Collision. They are perfect opponents for each other. Their chemistry is just A1. And I am looking at both of these guys and I'm just like, Kevin Knight, he's new. We're going to see more of him. If you're not familiar with it, well, Kevin was at the New Japan show last night too. So he's putting in work. And if you're not familiar with Kevin, you're definitely going to enjoy him. However, AR Fox, y'all could be enjoying him a lot more too if Tony Khan would actually put this guy on TV. He is absolutely amazing in the ring. And the more we're seeing him on TV, you're hearing the way the crowd is reacting to him. They want to see more. Put him in a situation. Y'all looking for somebody to join the Hurt Syndicate. Put AR Fox in there. Somebody do something with this man because this is wasted talent that we're talking about here. I don't want him to keep coming on the show just to keep losing to everybody. And he has something special to give. I appreciate them, putting him out there, but we got to do something really big with this guy. And yes, Kevin wins. After this tag team action, FTR, I was about to say they went against local talent, but it might as well have been. They went against Daddy Magic and Angela Parker. Whenever I remember Angela Parker is employed, they use him, and then typically, Daddy Magic is walking ringside looking like somebody lost uncle, being in support of Danny Garcia, or he's doing commentary, and it wasn't even, I don't even know what the hell happened. It just seemed like Dax just breathed onto Daddy Magic. Daddy Magic was busted open like crazy. So much blood over nothing. I don't know what this was. Just giving drama for no reason. And then here comes them just losing. Like this was one of the situations like FTR. They have this frustration in them. Then they need somebody to take it out on. And there's Angela Parker and Daddy Magic. Whoop-de-doo. We don't even care about them getting their ass whooped too. Now we do have Danny Garcia who come on out there, and they gave him like 2, I think almost 3 pile drivers. The use of security guards came on out there to help. They even hurt a referee too. And then here comes Adam Cole and whatever the hell they call in that group that they in now for the save. Honestly, I feel like we could be doing something much better with Daniel Garcia instead of putting him in foolishness that I feel like kind of robbed him from being an interesting champion to begin with. Because when he was champion, when he had the title, TNT title, he wasn't that interesting. But then y'all made it a focus on him doing all this trios and teaming up with all these people and shit. It was just like y'all should have focused on him feuding with singles competitors, and instead y'all kept putting him in trios business and all that shit. And now look, he's in the same shit again even after losing the titles. I'm over it. So now y'all know I don't even have to go into details. Y'all know Athena beat Harley for the semifinal. She moved on up. So what that means is that Athena is going against CEO next week. Mind you, that next week, Dynamite, they are in Boston, where CEO is from. I've been having my own little booking with this whole thing, fantasy booking with how I would love for Athena and CEO to go. It's not going my way at this point. And I'm kind of sad that they're actually going to be having a match on Dynamite, their first match together on Dynamite, rather than it being at All In. There's potential to do something huge with these girls. If anything, we're probably going to get I'm hoping, since the match is going to happen, maybe a rematch at All In. I don't know. I wish Tony Khan would have really listened to what the fans, listening to your fans. It can help you, Tony. There's nothing wrong with listening to your fans. We are the consumers. We buy this shit. We spend time on this. So for you to just be like, I'm going to put this dream match on fucking Dynamite is absolutely insane. Can't wait to see what happens between them. And now we have for our main event for the Owen Hart Cup quarterfinals, Takeshita, who was just going against Tanahashi last night. That match was beautiful, y'all, if y'all didn't see it. He goes against Brody King. Takeshita, for the first time that Takeshita has had this title since, what was it, October or something like that? He has the never openweight title. And he has never been able to come on AEW with this title. I don't even think they've really acknowledged that he's had this title. And here he is for the first time coming with it on AEW. And I was just like, wait, what? I thought that was insane because they haven't done that the entire time that he's been holding this title. Whatever. They gave us a really great main event. Takeshita, I figured he was going to end up winning anyway. But Brody King, who's in that ring, and Julia Hart ringside looking beautiful. What is going on that it just seems like you see the talent in Brody, but never truly the opportunity that he should have to be able to do a little bit more. He is still in the same position. Granted, he's getting a little bit more TV time doing things as a single competitor, but he is at home with Rhea Ripley. I would love to be doing the same thing. And then here is Malachi, who ended up leaving. And it's just like, okay, when was the last time Brody's won anything? Wouldn't it have been something different to actually see him advance? Maybe I'm looking at it a little too much, but I just feel like it would be cool to see a shocker at some point. Like, throw us for a loop by putting someone else in that position. Takeshita has been really successful as of late, and I appreciate his work ethic from literally yesterday doing autograph signings, doing a main event, and then main eventing again. And within 2 days is insane. He has an amazing work ethic, but let's not count out some of these other guys who are not afforded those same opportunities. Brody King is an amazing wrestler, and I would love to see more from him. So Takeshita advances on to the semifinals, which I'm excited about. Wait a minute. Is Takeshita going against Fletcher? Who's Takeshita going against? Well, I'm going to have to look this up. Hold on. Alright, y'all. I looked it up. It's going to be Takeshita going against William Ospreay. All hope is lost. All hope is lost. Y'all already know what's going to happen with that. Tony Khan's not going to surprise us in any way when it comes to that. Either way, Collision I thought was okay. I don't know. Some of that stank from Dynamite kind of rubbed off on this one a little bit too. But at least we're making advancements within the Owen Hart Cup. And, you know, we're going to see some new things in terms of Jon Moxley defending the trios titles, and even the Hurt Syndicate, unfortunately, going to have to hurt the Gates of Agony whenever that match comes on. So I'm looking forward to Dynamite and seeing what they're going to be giving. I think there's going to be interesting in terms of where we're going with the ladies. Athena, y'all know Toni Storm is pretty much just sitting there pretty and just like waiting to see who her opponent's going to be. Now remember, there can be an opportunity for someone else to possibly take this title off of Toni. Either way, whoever wins the women's or the men's Owen Hart Cup, they are guaranteed to be going against whomever is going to be championed by All In. Overall, Collision was nothing to stay home and watch. But, hey, we're moving on. And let's see what they give us for Dynamite. I'm hoping for a better show. You guys, thanks very much for watching my review. I will be back on Wednesday with Dynamite live stream and review. See you guys then.